Excellent. Welcome, guys. Welcome to FITBANKER Challenge Masterclass. My name is Ronnie, and I'll be running today's session. Just to manage expectations, for those of you that just joined now, or if you're listening in on recording, if there's an interrupt, I do apologize. I am joining from an ashram at the moment. I'm out somewhere near Pune, and I am, I wasn't sure of what the setup was here, the connectivity and so on. And there isn't great Wi-Fi, so I am hotspotting off mobile, but it should be good for the duration of this call. If there is any interruption noise in the background, bear with me if I have to deal with it, because I'm out in a sort of public foyer area, but it's 10:30 here at night. I'm hoping there won't be people hovering around at this time of the night. So that said, a very warm welcome. What is a masterclass? This masterclass is for those of you that have no idea about FITBANKER or some idea about FITBANKER, but you want to understand actually what does it entail, or you might have already signed up, and this is also to get you ready and manage expectations around what to expect on the program, what is it we will deliver, and how do we actually support you in your transformation journey. But right off the bat, I want to say is what we're committed to is making this a lifestyle education that lasts a lifetime. So while we are delivering a 90-day program, our recommendation is that you are doing a number of programs across different seasons, because we also behave differently across the seasons. We eat differently across the seasons. We move differently across the seasons, depending on where you are and which part of the world. But also subconsciously, we're rewiring our habits to environment, to food, to community, to events, to cultural happenings and traditions that happen across the year around us. And once we can go through an annual cycle, we are a lot more grounded in making this second nature. The first time you do a program, it is at the price that you signed up at, depending on what offer you got in at. And thereafter, it's as little as £70 a month, but it's 210 for the 90-day program if you continue your journey right after. So as in if you get in the early birds right after this 90-day program. That said, I want to kick off with this quote by Thomas Edison, where he said about next year, it will be in a few days' time, it will be 120 years ago. The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and the cause and prevention of disease. That was said in 1903. It's almost 2023, and you tell me, we're in a world that's going through a pandemic. There are more people unwell, and most of us go to the doctor and the medical services for fixing, repairing, or sometimes we put on medication that we're on for the rest of our lives. And I completely love and respect the medical services. I turn to it. Some of you may be doctors. We have many doctors on our program that do our program and recommend our program. GPs, ICU specialists, gastroenterologists, urologists, they've all been on our program. My wife is a research doctor, and knowing the knowledge and implementation are two different things. Knowing what there is to know about the function of the human body or certain organs is brilliant, but it makes less and less of a difference to yourself unless you yourself are implementing what you have learned. And we as an organization exist to proactively use education as a preventative tool to keep us closest to discover and live a life of optimal health. That's me and my wife Ambika. If you guys are on Instagram and you want to connect with us, please do connect with our tags there. That's fitbanker.co, which is mine, and Dr.Ambika Sampath, which is my wife's. Our mission statement, why we exist, is to empower humanity to live a life of optimal health through lifestyle education that lasts a lifetime, and we're on a mission to transform 1 billion lives. Now, why do I say that? Why is that important for us? Why is that our mission? Is because we believe humanity can really get an understanding of their body, understand food, and we don't just eat food that is centrally designed to please our taste buds, but actually understand the functional nature of food, understand how the body functions, understand what's inside our body underneath our skin, and how can we influence our body composition, our fat, our muscle, our bone, and so on. And this is something I never knew. It's like I didn't have the user manual of this vehicle, but I went for a driving test and learned a lot of theory. And even if you buy a new vehicle, they come with a manual on how to use the vehicle, but we're never told how to use this vehicle. So we really exist to deliver that education that we had to learn the hard way. We work a lot with individuals, professionals, and we're also working with corporates. We are looking to get more into corporate. So if you're somebody with an organization where well-being is your agenda for the new year and there is something that would be offered to your teams, I'd love for you to reach out to us. You'll definitely know a lot more about us once you've gone through the program. But it might be something right off the bat. You're like, hey, our company is looking to bring on a well-being program. We work with individuals and corporates to get them connected in their daily roles and tasks, aligned with their purpose, optimizing their well-being and designing a lifestyle around that, operating and creating a weekly and daily schedule that you honor with integrity. And our programs are delivered community-based. So it's a lot of team and teamwork, group coaching, and team activities that we do. So you'll be in teams on various WhatsApp groups once you choose a coach, once the program starts off. Now that's me that we have on screen. That's me on the left at 108 kg. I was 108 kg at my heaviest, and that's me on the right at 76 kilos. I was 40 going on 41-inch waist size on the left and came down to 30, 31 and some 32-inch waist size. So about 9 inches around my waist I've lost 70 pounds in weight, or 32 kilos. And any Brits here I've lost about 5 stone in weight. So how did I do that and how have I sustained it? This transformation of mine started in 2014. I finished in 2015. It took me 7 months. So my personal journey was a 7-month journey. But what we are inviting you to do, like I said, is to make this lifestyle and make it sustainable. I did my own program 3 times to really work on my underlying relationship to certain foods. And those foods showed up for me in some form of self-sabotage. What do I mean by self-sabotage? I could easily ask you guys to avoid certain foods, force you to or make you to, but that's only short-term sustainable. If you're avoiding any foods and it is some form of suppression or force, but you don't understand the underlying science, it's unlikely to be sustained. So we want you to understand the underlying science principles. And if you understand the science, and if you have a motive as to why you want to optimize the vehicle, your why, if that's clear, then implementing the steps, the actions, the how is easy. Welcome, Rithi, and welcome to whoever's joining KK in the background. I don't know if it's the same person on 2 devices. Okay, it is. All right, brilliant. Okay, you cannot commence any transformation journey without a very clear why. So at this point, guys, wherever you are and whatever you've been dealing with in your day, I invite you to close your eyes. And hopefully none of you are driving at this moment in time. So if you just close your eyes, I want you to visualize something. First of all, if you could just take a deep breath, all of you, just take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, just exhale and let go of whatever you were dealing with before you got onto this masterclass. Just let go of that. Just let go of anything you're concerned about happening after this masterclass. Breathe in again. Let go of any concern that you're dealing with before this masterclass or whatever's coming up next for you, so you can be wholly present in today's masterclass. And exhale. Last one, breathe in. Keeping your eyes closed. Exhale and let go. All right, while your eyes are closed, I want you to picture yourself. I want you to visualize yourself. I want you to visualize yourself in action, doing something you love, you're passionate about, you're thriving in. It could be something you've done in the past. It could be something you've never done before. It could be day-to-day routine, or it could be an adventure. And you have an opportunity to revise what you see. But what you see yourself slightly different in this visual. You see yourself operating with peak energy. Peak energy, the most energy you've ever experienced yourself have, limitless amount of energy. You can keep going. You experience and see yourself with the strongest you've ever felt and some. You really are strong. And thirdly, you have a lot of bodily confidence. By bodily confidence, I'm not talking about confidence in your image of how you look, but confidence in the ability to command your body to execute or do a certain task or pull off whatever feat lies ahead of you. Now, if you had that peak energy, peak strength, and peak bodily confidence, what activity would you engage in? What adventure would you take on? What would you be doing? So I invite you to take a moment. You can revise. What would you throw yourself back into? What would you explore? What would you discover? What do you see yourself doing with peak energy, peak strength, and peak confidence? And as I say this, and as you visualize your image, I want you to really get that image strong and clear. What would you do? What would you want to do? I asked myself this question lying in a hospital bed. And at that time, I'm lying in a hospital bed, and I was very clear that being in that bed was not the definition of success. And I remember saying to myself, if I had peak energy, peak strength, and peak confidence, I would rather be. And what I saw myself doing was climbing up a mountain. It was Mount Kilimanjaro with my 2 boys in tow. And that was in 2013. Fast forward 8 years, last year, I've gone up Mount Kilimanjaro with both my boys. Firstly, I took my firstborn when he was 3 years old, up to 4,000 meters. And last year, I took my firstborn, who was then 4, and my secondborn, who was only 20 months old, up Mount Kilimanjaro, up to 2,700 meters. They haven't been summited simply because they're not been allowed by the park authorities. But just having a vision or visual of what that looks like allowed me to, at some point in the future, step into it. I'm going to ask you guys now to open your eyes, and I'd like to get 1 or 2 shares. I'll take 2 shares from any of you on the call. Please do share. What is it you saw yourself doing with that peak energy, peak strength, peak confidence? So who'd like to share? Either, yeah, we got Nirav. If you can come on camera, that would be great. And if we can get somebody else as well to raise your hand to go after Nirav.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Am I on camera?
Yeah, we see you.
Okay, fine. I think if I get peak strength, peak health, and I think my body would be much more optimized, then I think I would like to go on more hikes and a lot more adventurous things, more than what I've already done in the past. I've already climbed Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya, but I would like to do more, so that at least I can go up till, might be even Everest Base Camp or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We should go for summit. We should go together.
Sure. Thank you.
Awesome, Nirav. So awesome and brilliant. And if you have that vision and visual really clear, it's a key part of how we coach. I'm just using a very simplistic example in today's visualization, but I'll explain later how we coach on our program. So
Sure.
Is that Rithi or KK who'd like to share?
Yeah, hi, that was me. Similar to both of you, we've also actually climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in the past.
Awesome.
But my visualization was more, I used to be able to run a half marathon pretty, not easily, but pretty, I could manage it. But for the last 3-4 years, my knees haven't been, I guess, good enough or healthy enough for me to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it again. Is it my fitness? Is it just the condition of my knees? But it would be awesome to do that again or something similar.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. Amazing. And have you checked your body composition? Are you familiar
I just
with your
did it yesterday.
What is it? What's your body fat percentage?
Let me pull it up. My boy, 25.7.
Okay, got it. So, and you know what the optimal range is, the healthy range?
15 to 18?
For you, it will be 10 to 19, right?
Okay.
So 10 to 19. So if you're 25, so we're saying we're 6% over. One of the biggest contributors to knee pain is that we have got a lot of load being carried on them. And the moment that reduces, like what I was scheduled for a host of knee surgery, and everyone that checked me, the best of the doctors, didn't tell me that I can solve it by losing weight. And my surgery was scheduled for whatever reason, didn't go ahead. And then later on, when I once went through my transformation, I've completely transformed my knee health and removed that regular pain that I used to have. I've done Kilimanjaro 8 times, and the first 6-7 times, even in the last year, I've kept developing and working more on my various ancillary muscles around my knees. And this was the summit number 8 was the first one where no knee braces, no walking poles, the whole way up, the whole way down, and no pain as well. So one of the best summits because of really working on isolating muscle around my legs to really minimize dependence or pressure being applied on our joints. But it's brilliant to hear that. And keep that vision clear. And now we want to look at what can we work on in the body so that you get to peak state to allow you to pull off whatever challenge you have for yourself. Rithi, did you want to share as well?
Yeah, no, I have something similar as well, but I would love to get back into playing sports. I had a shoulder injury when I had a ski fall. And so that's another thing where I know I need to work harder around. I've done some physical therapy and things like that. But so just to be stronger, more energy is what I feel like. We have 3 kids, just to keep up with them. And they are like, I have 2 boys and a girl. So it's like a lot of energy in the house. And so just to keep up, just high energy. And like, I don't want to be the mom who's like, I'm tired all the time. And I feel that's what I am right now. So this is where I would love to, change that, be able to play sports with them, less injuries, like every time there's something or the other going on with the body. So the same, and then again, that's what we've done, Kilimanjaro, which was a struggle for me. I'm sure if I do it after this, maybe it'll be, easier. But obviously that was like 6 years ago. So yeah, pretty much similar, but just more like less injuries, more energy, more active.
Yeah.
And
yeah. All right. Awesome. So, and what sport, by the way, did you play? What sport were you doing?
I was more of a swimmer growing up, but I really wanted to get into tennis. Okay. I just think that's a great sport for me, and just generally, like, I'd love to do that. But I feel like one of my left shoulder is bothering me a lot these days, like since the last couple of years. So I feel once that goes away, I feel I could get into that as well.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. Really key that we have some underlying why. And for anyone else that hasn't got to share, Mina, do you want to share quickly, just as we've got everybody else to share? Don't want to leave you out.
Sure. I guess I wasn't as bold as a mountain climb, but basics that I've been missing, I guess. I too have a bad knee. It's been acting up for the last couple of years as well. But I used to be, before I had children, I was an avid runner, 10K every day. So I was in good shape, but got married, had kids, and just kind of gave the excuse of no time, available, and kind of let it go from there. So I do enjoy running. So my vision was running and traveling. Even now my kids are teens, so they enjoy soccer. So just, I can't even play soccer because of my knee, and help them kind of with that. Because it flares up so bad. So I want to kind of just get back to being a healthy mom who can be involved in, their lives, and for myself too, to get back into, hopefully, fingers crossed, running. But sports, I was quite athletic before and just haven't got back to that. So that's kind of my goal.
Awesome. Brilliant. So awesome to hear all of you guys share what's possible. What you would like to make possible for you. And I want you all to know that it completely is, once we understand the functioning of the body, once we understand like what's our current metabolic age and how do you reverse that. We have scales that can tell us this. When I was 34, my metabolic age was 47. When I'm 42, my metabolic age is 27. So that's a 20-year reversal. And feeling that life and vibrancy in me, and having done certain tasks before as a big overweight fat guy, and doing the same task again, having transformed. So I've done Kili at 100 kg, and I've done Kilimanjaro at 77 kg. I've done Tough Mudder at 100 kg, and I've done Tough Mudder again at 77. And to experience the spring in your step, the ability to jump up a wall and climb over and do push-ups on it with the new energy and strength is just a game changer. And it becomes addictive to not want to lose that buzz or that high. And then to really protect a routine that allows us to to really preserve that, because you don't want to lose it. And I've got 2 boys, so totally relate to everything you guys are saying around keeping up with the kids. And in my case, my constant challenge is that I want to make sure I'm still able to outrun them or outpower them, and for as long as I can hold up, right? So that's going to be the fun and games for me. But we cannot commence any transformation journey without a very clear why. What we've done right now is a very small intentional visualization to picture something, to say, hey, if I want to do that, this is what I would like to do. If I could optimize X, Y, Z. But the good news, or the bad news for some, is that our current body, our current lifestyle, our current home, our current car, our current pet, our current location and city that we live in, is already a function of our internal BS. And by that I mean our internal belief system. So at some point you subconsciously believed, accepted, tolerated, chose even subconsciously without realizing it. That's not a bad job, that's not a bad car, I kind of like that, that's my dream home, I can afford that home, I can pay that mortgage, and you get into something. But it was subconsciously chosen, or conveniently it landed upon your eyeballs and you chose that as a good opportunity. From the foods we eat, to the hours we sleep, the programs we watch, the lifestyle we live, the drinks that we have, it was all subconsciously chosen. What we've done here was an intentional visualization. Like, if you could have peak energy, strength, and confidence, what would you get up to? And that's kind of how the program continues to build on as we go through, is that we intentionally start to prepare goals, visualization, the next step, the next milestone, and then create the actions that take us to there. So what we did was a little bit of inspiration, right? By creating your why. So in our program, we'll ask you to write down what's your why that you'll get into after. And if that why for you is really clear, we'll then give you the information, which is how do you optimize the vehicle at a body, mind, and intellect level to execute upon that particular vision, mission, why, or purpose of yours. But what we do, and why I can share all the information that we use to transform a person's body, I can share that here because the information alone doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference if you don't have somebody holding you accountable or implementing it. And that's what we have, a body of coaches globally. We have about 50 to 60 coaches globally that are accountability coaches. So they hold you accountable to take on certain actions. Mina, you're invited by Susan. She was a coach with us. Keshav and Rithi, Abba's an amazing coach with us, and also just had our annual awards, and she's an award-winning coach as well, which is awesome to have her on our team as well. And so before we do, I'll go into my journey very quickly from me as a fat banker to FITBANKER, the organization. That's me in 2014. If you asked me then what success looked like, I would have pointed at myself. I would have thought, I'm perfect, I'm good, I got a great job, great salary, live in a great part of London, I'm married, and if you spoke to me about health, I would have told you, well, there's nothing wrong. I can move, I can walk, I can trot, I can touch my toes. And so I would say that's a measure of my fitness. If somebody asked me, what are you doing about your health? I would tell them about the amazing medical insurance policy that JP Morgan had, where I worked. And fast forward 7 months, that's me after my transformation, 70 pounds lighter. And after I went through this transformation, that was FITBANKER was born. So this is me as a banker living what I thought was my subconscious mantra, which is work hard, party harder. So there's me out at events, at an auction, eating out restaurants, appearing various public speeches or weddings, which is there. And to me, that was what life looked like. That was the measure of, or my perception of what success looked like. Subconsciously, we also do this thing, which is we try to signal to the world. It's called signaling as a protective mechanism. We signal to the world an area of our life that we can't influence, can't control, or we're helpless in. And so for me, in the area of health, subconsciously, without realizing this, a protective mechanism the ego or the identity does is it projects to the world, I can work hard and party hard. There's an image from me out in the club. I can take on an adventure like I did Mount Kilimanjaro, still at 100 kg. And that's me on the right doing the Daniel Craig pose, coming out of a beach in New Zealand. Now I say Daniel Craig pose because we also use self-deprecating humor. We mock ourselves, we joke about ourselves. If someone says, hey man, you're out of shape, we'll say, round is a shape, mate. Or somebody talks about our drinking habits, and we'll talk about how much we love our whiskey or our beer, or everyone's got to have this ABCD XYZ weekend routine, right? So we use humor to diminish an area so that somebody can't be serious with us to talk about that particular position. So while I was physically able to pull off a host of feats, what I realized is at my so-called peak of my success, this is in 2013, I'm newly married, 9 months into our marriage, we were 3 months pregnant. And it was my wife's birthday, so I decided to go from London to Edinburgh for the Fringe Festival. And the Fringe Festival, if you haven't heard of it, is like this whole town of Edinburgh for the whole month of August turns into an open air festival. There are comedians, drama, plays, performances, flamethrowers, every stand-up comedian that's a who's who in the world of stand-up comedy at some point was at the Fringe Festival performing to build up their career. And we were there in August 2013. And the icing on the cake in that moment, in addition to it being my wife's birthday, was we were 3 months pregnant at the time. And I thought, perfect venue, exactly the 3-month mark for us to take a picture with a scan with the beautiful castles in Edinburgh as a backdrop and share with the world on social media that, hey, we're going to become parents. And while we had all that planned, while they're in Edinburgh, the universe had other plans. We had a miscarriage and we lost a little one. It was obviously a crushing moment for me, crushing moment for my wife. She's never been in that position where she's losing a baby. And I've not been in the position where I'm trying to console a grieving mom and process it myself at the same time. As a result of not having been emotionally resilient, I might have been physically resilient, but I was not emotionally resilient. There was a breakdown in communication with Ambika and I. It was heated debate, got stressed from it. And then that night I got these heart palpitations, all from trying to calm her down. And she's bawling her eyes out at the loss that we've had. And we're in this hotel room holding a fetus in our hands that has just passed. And there's no family, no friends around. And so all of that is being processed in one night. These heart palpitations carry on through the night, the following day, and the next day as I get back into London, I wind up in hospital. And I'm lying there in this hospital bed. The nurses come, check my vitals, connected, taken blood samples, connected ECG machine. I have no idea what all these mean. I have no idea what he's looking at. I have no idea what he's looking for. They're contemplating, might be a stroke, might be a heart attack. I'm 33 at the time. And I was so clear that as vice president, 6-figure salary, big savings in the bank, great part of London, it meant nothing in that moment. I'm looking at my wife there, sat on the chair next to me. She's dozing off. It's about 2 or 3 in the morning. All our family in New Zealand and Zambia. I have no family or friends around, just me and her. And as I see her dozing off, and we're waiting for the next test or the next results or the next doctor to do their rounds, I see her dozing off, and I'm just like, Ambika, just go home, go sleep in a proper bed, come back tomorrow, everything will be okay. And she just snaps at me. She says, there's no way I'm waking up tomorrow having lost another one. And I just realized that moment, here's somebody who's lost a baby, and now I'm saying your other family member might be about to go, but don't worry about it. And for the first time, my view of myself, a little egotistical, arrogant perspective of myself in the world was crushed. And I really got that actually this person and other people bank on my fitness, that I've got to have some ownership and responsibility about my body, my mental state, my emotional resilience to be able to perform and deliver, because there are lives that bank on me. At that point in that time, we had no kids. We've just had a miscarriage. But my wife banks on me, my employees bank on me, my employers bank on me, and a whole host of people in the world actually bank on our fitness. I decided to geek out on understanding nutrition, body composition, muscle building, fat loss, and I implemented everything that I learned from various schools of thought, including Ayurveda. I lost 20 kg. I got down to 87 kg. And then I saw on Facebook this body transformation competition. Signed up to it, threw my before photo in, and fast forward 90 days, that was my transformation. I won that competition. It led to a bit of a flurry on social media, people reaching out, what did you do, how did you train, what did you eat? And that was the birth of FITBANKER as a mentoring coaching opportunity. So I did a post on social media saying, hey, who would like to be mentored by me for the next 90 days? I'll share with you what I've learned. And I thought 5 or 10 polite friends would sign up. 60 people signed up, and that was the birth of FITBANKER. Amongst them, a GP, this Dr. Diksha Patel signed up. I'm like, how come doctors are signing up to my program? They should know this because I go to them when I have something wrong. Ellie, one of our Italian participants. These guys are doctors in Florida. I call them the Fit Doctors. The guy on the left lost 53 pounds. The guy on the right lost 36 pounds. They used to drive around from New York to Orlando, doing this men's health awareness campaign, yet they didn't look, embody, or know much about their own well-being. This is Simran, somebody who was overweight most of her life, did the program, broke the female record at the time, lost 15.8 kg, then signs up to Kilimanjaro, loses a further 5 kg in preparation. Very hard for her in that particular batch, in our first leadership summit, but she got to the top, and thereafter she's now about 30 kilos lighter. And one of her other goals was around relationships, which she's now just recently got married. Here's somebody who's done a program as a vegan. People say, well, I'm healthy, I'm vegan. And I'm like, well, you can be vegan, but not necessarily healthy. And we explained to her the difference between healthy vegan and unhealthy vegan. So crisps, sugar, and a lot of that stuff is vegan and can be vegan, but it's unhealthy. How do you make healthy choices? How do you understand the underlying macronutrients? This is a single mom, knows better than many what it means to bank on your fitness. There's a lady called Anoli. She is 1/3 of her body has disappeared, 75 kg on the left, 50 kg on the right. That happened in about 120 days. So, these are all examples of what's possible after we take on our health at any age or stage of life. That's my dad at age 70 on the left. He's on high cholesterol statins, high PP medication, daily aspirin, 22 pills a day. Takes on the program. Fast forward 6 years, so at age of 76, in preparation for Kilimanjaro, he's at 63 kg. We went up Mount Kilimanjaro. He didn't summit, but he went fairly high up the mountain. But still an amazing feat for somebody who's never been into walking or hiking. And now he's 77, and he's a granddad of 2 kids. And we think that wouldn't have been possible if he had continued on his old trajectory. Talking about new moms, this is a lady that started the program after second born. While breastfeeding, she took on the program. She is now about 20 kilos lighter, actually, and she is one of our coaches in Kenya. She's inspired a nation. About 150 people from Kenya and globally have signed up through this lady and coach. This is Miral. She's somebody with this organization. I'm at Chinmaya Mission. She works with a spiritual organization. We've had monks and nuns from this organization join our program through her. So this is an example of what's possible when you take on your health. You can really go on to inspire many more. There's me. I never expected to be somebody that would world of health and fitness. I was an accountant by background. I was a banker with JP Morgan. I'm now an 8 times summiteer of Kilimanjaro, but that's my 6th summit with my son at age 3, and I'm the only Zambian to summit Kilimanjaro 8 times. So how are all these possible, and what's possible for you? You only will discover. We can't say how far you can go. It really depends on how you do the program by design. But I'm going to share with you now some of the technical bits that I expected of you on the program, those of you that have already signed up, or those of you that are contemplating signing up. But if you want to learn and grasp something new today, then I invite you to give up any pre-existing notion you have about what you think exercise is, or health and fitness, or what do you think it entails. There's a Zen or Buddhist saying, which is empty your cup so that it may be filled. So you might know some of what I'm about to share, but I invite you to listen to it from a completely clean slate. The first thing we do is we want to redefine what health is. What is optimal health? Most people think it's physical activity and nutrition. So I'll just exercise more, eat less. Such a basic and unreal understanding of the human body. There are multiple facets to our well-being. It's quite a holistic entity that we're taking care of. So we need to understand other facets that if they're not primed, then your physical activity and nutrition, even though may be good, will stop making a difference. One of which is sleep. If you don't have mastery of your sleep, your hormones are going to be out of whack. And it doesn't matter how much you exercise and how good you eat, you will find that your body is always playing catch up. It doesn't have enough rest and digest state. And so how to sleep, when to sleep, how to get into depths of sleep, what sleeping aids can we do to have better quality sleep, therefore better recovery and a lot more fresh and alertness and energy the next day. Mind-body connection. Our body embodies emotion. When emotion goes into the body, it's embodied. By emotion, things like childhood trauma, things like bullying, things like a hard period in our personal relationships, or parenting, or strained relationships with our parents, or some childhood abuse that we might have gone through, or an accident that we've gone through. All that trauma gets stored in our body, and the body is constantly on alert, looking out for that will never happen to me again. And so your nervous system has two parts. One's called the fight or flight, and the other one is the rest and digest. And those of us that have had some significant event or phase in our life, even though we pulled through it and we think we've grown from it, the brain is still prepared to not let that happen again. So it's on constant edge, operating in your fight or flight state, and it's releasing constantly these stress hormones to be ready to sting back should that happen to you or to your loved ones. And it has a hormonal impact which converts to your biology, which converts to your physiology. Until you look at it on the program, you may not begin to let go of that past-based experience. The next is social connection. There is a study of what's called the blue zones, the 7 regions in the world that has the highest concentration of centenarians. And what they found was common that contributed to their longevity and their health was that they had a lot of social connection, that people around them that contributed to certain tasks, certain roles. So they focused on what they were good at, while others supported them with various things from school pickups and drop-offs to buying the grocery to helping with other errands and so on. But also your relationships, your most intimate relationships, if they're stressed, if they're strained, it will impact the quality of your routine, it will impact your communication, it will impact your emotional and mental state. And the 6th pillar is, are you doing a job? Are you doing a livelihood? Are you waking up every day and engaging in something that is completely aligned with your purpose and your authentic nature? Or in Sanskrit, we say your swadharma and your swabhav, which is I have a particular character, particular nature. There are some things I'm naturally good at to execute upon. But if you take a creative like me, somebody who's a people's person, loves to be on stage or speaking, and you go and put me in an analytical role, like I was in banking, the only way I'm going to cause result there is by doing more, which is I'll have to work longer hours, push harder, and that only creates result through some form of resistance or strain or stress. And I was amazing in my career, got all the bonuses, got all the promotions, excelled pretty fast. But I could only do that without realizing it through subjecting my body and mind through prolonged hours of usage. And if you put somebody that was their nature, they would complete what took me a day to do in about 2 or 3 hours. And so we ask people on our program to even look at what is it you're doing on a daily basis that isn't your authentic nature. You might have the qualification, but that doesn't mean that you have to subject yourself to continually doing that task just because you trained in it. So if your why is real in life, then getting out of bed daily and taking on habits and actions that contribute to your well-being is just a no-brainer. Some of the things people have tried in the past that didn't work or worked short-term and then the results reversed back is people take on a lot of fad or yo-yo diets. So it's a little bit of a gimmick that you're doing. If you don't understand the underlying science, what you're doing is some form of suppressing food, some form of avoiding your alcohol, some form of avoiding the sweet dishes. If you don't understand the science, it doesn't become long-lasting. And the moment your day 30 of that diet has reached, or day 10 or day 21, you turn back and you sometimes volley back and some. You probably put on more weight than you lost in the first place. Or some people think, I can eat what I want so long I burn it on the weekend. So I would eat what I want, and on the weekend I'd go for a 5K run. And then it wasn't enough. Then I would do an 8K run, then I'd do a 10K run, then I'd do a 12K, then I started to do 15, and one day I did 20K and I got the worst shin splints. I was injured and I caused a lot of damage because I'm running overweight. And it impacted knees, it impacted my shin, it impacted my ankles. And so exercising more can sometimes be injurious if you're doing the wrong kind of exercise for your wrong body composition. Or you have a resigned view like me, which is when people ask me what my well-being, I'll say, JP Morgan has this amazing medical insurance policy. If I die, my family gets $5 million. That's the way I would brag about it. But that's not me taking care of me. That's what happens to my family after I'm gone. And so when I moved from Zambia to the UK, there's this big thing called the NHS that everyone thinks, oh, the NHS will sort you out, the National Health Services. It doesn't sort you out. If you're dependent on it, it means you have no ownership or understanding of your own well-being. So what we want people to do is to really understand what's going on inside of you. The first thing we do is we tell you that all disease is caused by inflammation. All disease happens in the presence of inflammation. So you might get some disease that started now, but your body might have chronically be subjected to inflammation. How do we trigger inflammation in our body? The first thing on our program is not some magic pill you take, but you have to remove from your existing diet foods that contribute to what's called a blood glucose spike, which are those black, the peaks off the black line that you see, that blood glucose spike then triggers an insulin response, which is a hormone to suppress a very high level of sugar. It pushes that sugar lower and even below the starting point. If you can see where it dips, when we feel that drop in energy in the day, that carb crash, I would experience that so much in my world of banking. I lived on Red Bull. And what I didn't realize was that I kept creating a spike and a crash, spike and a crash, spike and a crash. I would yawn my way through the day. And I thought, this is just me. I've just got to do that. I didn't know any way to create steady, stable, and reliable energy such that I don't doze off. So the foods I would be eating is a very high sugary and carb-based cereal. 11 a.m. I have a snack bar. I have a baguette or sandwich at lunch. I have biscuits or a Kit Kat at 4 p.m. because it says on the wrapper, take a break. And at night, I'm having pizzas or pasta. And that spike and crash was chronically keeping insulin at bay and also creating inflammation. The first thing we do is we remove high glycemic index carbs. We enrich our diet with more good fats, good fiber, high protein. Then you will have the quality carbs that you consume break down at a much slower pace, and you have more stable and steady energy. You don't have the spikes and the crashes, and as a result, you reboot your metabolism. So the first thing we're doing is rebooting our metabolism. But if Ronnie is telling me this now in 2022, at the end of 2022, where did we all get it wrong as humanity? This is from the NHS website, the gov.uk website, and it's telling everybody to eat X amount of starchy white carbs, X amount of dairy, X amount of meats, pulses, fish, lentils, X amount of veg and fruit. But it's telling everybody one piece of information. All 5 of you on this call have completely different heights, different weight, different body composition, different lifestyle, and different gender. Why would you all be given one piece of information? And so what we do in the FitBanker Challenge is have you understand your uniqueness. What's unique about your lifestyle? How many hours of physical work are you doing? How much movement are you doing? How many hours do you sleep? What are your emotional and mental stressors? If you don't understand that, you will not be eating in accordance to your body and your daily routine and lifestyles needs. So we teach you functional eating, which is on the bottom right corner, which is for the design of your day, you only need X amount of carbs, you only need X amount of protein. Make sure you don't get under that protein number, nail that number. You don't need that amount of fat, especially if you've got some body fat that we want to dig into. So reduce that. And that's called functional eating, how to eat in accordance with the design of your day and what your body composition goals are. Then your body composition varies and your metabolism varies based on your body type. So in Western science, we call it ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. And in the next slide, I'll share with you a little bit about Eastern philosophy. And body composition, underneath our skin, all of us here have these 3 things. We have body fat and the 2 types of fat. We have muscle and we have bone. But the quantity and the quality varies for all of us. Today, what we have available to us, which has allowed FitBanker to thrive, is we have body composition scales, something that was previously not accessible to the everyday person. We can order these scales on Amazon, we can have them at home, or we can go to a gym that has a slightly higher quality one. But generally, they're a guide to tell us how much fat do we have, what should the optimal be, and how do you go from where you are to what your optimal should be. So I went from 30-something% down to 5.9% body fat, which was my FitBanker photo. And to put that into context, 5.9%, Usain Bolt is 4.5 in his peak state of training. I was at 5.9. Now I hover somewhere between 10 and 13%, and my healthy range is 10 to 19. So I was at an athletic range for a period, and I stay very much within my optimal healthy range. Then we don't just coach on the physical. When I talk of various muscle groups we coach on, it's the spiritual, emotional, and mental. They're all interconnected. And we need to understand that the physical body and its performance is also driven by emotional, mental, and what we call spiritual habits. The first thing we get out of our head is limiting beliefs. So that's me and my fiance at the time, Ambika. This is our engagement drinks. And we would go out, eat loads, drink loads. She could eat and does eat and could drink more than me. But then she would bunger the night away. I would feel sluggish, lethargic, I'd have gas, and the next day I've put on half a kilo. And at night, you can see my skin is even flushing in that photo, a very regular occurrence for me. I would be dozing in the nightclub. She would party the night away. And I was very clear, life is unfair. I just got the wrong body. I got the wrong genes. I would blame my dad to say, I got his kind of body. And look at Ambi and her family. They come from an army family and she's got everything good and gifted. But I was completely wrong. At the start, I explained to you that we're made up of the 3 I's: inspiration, information, and implementation. The information I didn't possess was I didn't know this, that there's a 5,000-year-old science on the science of body types, certain qualities of our body. And that body, in Ayurveda, we have various states called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And in Western science, we call it ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. What is the purpose of knowing this? The purpose of knowing your body type is you will know that you have a sensitivity to certain types of foods, or you're more predisposed to perform better in certain actions and activities or sport. You aren't going to be great in some, you won't be natural in some. So how can you eat or train in accordance with knowing your body type, its inhibitors and its limitations? We don't coach so much on the body type. I'm just stressing this now, but we just want to know it at the start. We want to know it at the start so we can tell you if you're a Kapha body type, if you're endomorph, the likelihood is you're very carb sensitive. So we're going to have to really make sure your carb number is low. If we know that off the bat from the start, then you should immediately, we're going to adjust your macros at the start of what you need. Wherever we are as a starting body composition, we tell you what optimal is. This image obviously depicts people with slightly more body fat reducing, but we also have people who do a program with a lean body. They struggle, they have a very fast metabolism, they struggle to put on healthy weight. So some people join our program to put on weight. But you need to know what are your starting numbers and what's the goal for your gender and your age. Then you can create a plan to get you from A to B. And so the way we track energy in and energy out, we use two apps, MyFitnessPal and RunKeeper. You can also use an app called Strava. And MyFitnessPal, this is where if you're on the program, you want to screenshot this page. You'll also get it in your setup email with a video of how to set it up. But at the start, if it's your first program, there are people doing this program who are anchoring. So if you're anchoring, you know the settings will be different. But if it's the first time you're doing it, you want 30% of your calories to come from protein, 30% of your calories to come from fat, and 40% to come from carbs. You can add me under friends on MyFitnessPal, search for FitBanker and add me. Once you add me and you share your diary, make your diary settings public, I can then from time to time review your food diary if need be. We don't do it as a part of the program, but when I see a participant is not shifting their body composition, that's when I want access to your diary to see what you've actually been eating. RunKeeper is where you record your walks, your runs, your bike rides, your swimming, your gym workouts. And once you track them and you connect the two, this is a screenshot from MyFitnessPal. This is somebody that has a goal to consume 1,700 calories. They have, on that day so far, eaten 1,109. And the more they eat, the less allowance they have left. They then exercise, which increases their allowance. And then they have a deficit, remaining calories to eat of 864. If this person consumes 864 calories, they will end up same weight at the end of the day. But if you're on a fat loss program, you want to leave the deficit. And so to lose 1 pound of fat, as we're saying in the top right corner, you have to create a 3,500 calorie deficit. Now, if you join me on Mount Kilimanjaro next August, we can do that in a day. But of course, that's not easy to implement in our day-to-day routine. So what we do is we recommend aim for a daily deficit of about 500 calories. And then at the end of the week, you would have achieved your 3,500 calorie deficit. The next thing we do is we alkalize. A lot of the foods we eat with the preservatives, the acid, even the fruit, the fruit acid that's there creates an acidic environment internally. And there is a view by some in the world of science that an acidic environment is great for storing and holding on to fat cells. They also say you need an acidic environment for cancerous cells to thrive. And an alkaline diet, and alkalizing your body, contributes to rebooting your metabolism. So we all have a pH number, and it's seen that the human body performs best at a pH of between 7.35 to 7.5, which is a very slightly alkaline environment. And how do we do that? We have smoothies that are specifically designed with more vegetable, more dark leafy greens than fruit. So there are about 5 veg in here. Most of them are dark leafy greens like broccoli, spinach, kale. There's some ginger there as well. So these are things you would have in your smoothies at certain weightings that we have, with only 1 or 2 pieces of fruit, mostly for taste, but they also do give us a little bit of vitamins that we need. And then to these smoothies, you can add protein if you want to, if it's a good quality protein, we recommend, or good fats like avocado or nut butters. Again, if you want these smoothie recipes before the challenge starts in high res, well, you can screenshot, or you can also message me or connect with me on Instagram, and I can send you the high res versions of these. So alkalizing is one of the things we recommend you start your day with. As you alkalize, you will be setting yourself up more for success, more for rebooting and optimizing your metabolism, and also you'll begin to see that you're triggering your body to your metabolism to kind of reboot and wake up and support you through your transformation. So those are the alkalizing smoothies that we implement through the program. Next up is we want to tell you about an amazing feature that was given to you when you were born, and that feature is called thermogenesis. Most of us don't use this feature. Thermo means heat and genesis means to generate. So our body can generate internal heat. It can release energy from stored cells. But most of us don't know how to train effectively to trigger that. So if you've been going to the gym for 12 years and you realize that the first year in the gym or the first 2 years in the gym, you had amazing results. Now that you're over 30 or 40, you realize, hang on, that same routine is no longer working. And I'm training the same. I'm even walking more. I'm even eating less, but my body is not shifting. That's because the fitter you get, the easier it is for you to pull off the feet that you've gotten used to, because your muscles have developed to manage that. But we want to show you how you can trigger what's called thermogenesis in as little as 7 minutes. So the image on the left is a simple 7-minute HIIT workout, which if you did each of these exercises for 40 seconds intensely with only a 20-second break before you moved on to the next exercise and you went around them, you would trigger 3 things. You would get to breathlessness, you would break sweat, and you would raise your heart rate somewhere between 60 and 90, but 70% is a good sweet spot to trigger thermogenesis. So 70% of your maximum heart rate. And the workouts we will share with you are designed to trigger this. We also have workouts on YouTube, but we also do live and free workouts. They're free for people not on the challenge. It's not part of the challenge. It's just a free offering that FitBanker do. So you're welcome to start them right away. There's a WhatsApp group to join for free workouts, or you can go on Facebook, search for this group called FitBanker Transforming a Billion Lives, and they get live streamed onto there. You can get a sense of these workouts. Most of them are either body weight HIIT workouts or strength and conditioning classes. I run 3 of them. I'm on a little break from my classes for 2 weeks till the second week of January, but there are other instructors running classes each of the days across the week. Finally, I want to talk about a bit of the psychology. In addition to the physical tasks, how do we make that habit sustained? How do we propel you to push further and faster? One of the things is sharing what you're up to. By sharing what you're up to, by posting on social media or sharing on the WhatsApp groups or telling people around you in person that, hey, I'm taking on my health. I'm now doing 10,000 steps a day. I'm starting my morning instead of breakfast. I'm not joining you in the canteen at work. I'm not going to have that bagel and peanut butter today. I'm going to have this green smoothie. And it's not pumped with fruit, it's pumped with veg. And I'm going to be having this. And the more you share that, the more you share your workouts, like this doctor did. This was that urologist who I shared about at the start, lost 53 pounds. And at age 47, he had a massive reversal in his body and boosted his metabolism and caused a lot of big shifts in his life. But he was regular in sharing on social media. And the more he shared, the more people expected him to be a demonstration of well-being, eating well, training regularly. He was on call sometimes at 2, 3 a.m. At his surgery, and you'd see him doing videos of him doing push-ups or planking in the surgery office. The more we share, the more we alter people's perception of us. And most of us, we appease or step into that perception. Now, sometimes that's a bad thing, but we are using it in a healthy way, which is if you project onto others that now you're going to be a representation of health, then suddenly people will look at Keshav as, hey, Keshav is the guy to say, hey, what weights do I do for this? Or what workout do you recommend? Or what distance do you have to walk a day? Or can I join you on your next trek? We're likely, by sharing, to be more consistent, likely to push harder and further, and we will create a new listening and a brand image of ourselves. Welcome, Aminata. I just want to acknowledge you joining and welcome you. We did start this a while back. We're We're a few slides away from wrapping up, but this is recorded. It's live streamed to a closed channel, and I'll happily share the link with you. If you connect with me after this call on social media, I can share the link with you. Finally, I want to talk about what will take you out of the game. Even if you've signed up to the program or you start, this is a warning to say, look out for this, because this will take you out of the game. Your brain, your mind, as you're listening to this today, as you're discovering this new guy called Ronnie, as you're discovering about this possible new approach to taking on your well-being, your mind's job is to pull you back and pull your body back to familiar. It's our comfort zone, and it's where we like to return to. But actually, comfort zone is the source of most dis-ease. Comfort zone is the source of most discomfort longer term. And so actually where we grow is when we don't chase the familiar, we step into the unfamiliar, we step into the uncomfortable. We take the route that is got more resistance in it. And our mind will project or express what we call self-sabotage mechanisms. We will say things or signal things or say things to keep us safe, like, I'm too busy, Ronnie, I can't join the webinars, I can't get those steps in, you don't understand how important and senior I am in my company, XYZ is a lot more important to me. We will say things that will take us out of our potential, or we will over-reward ourselves. So you go to the gym, you'll do everything by design. You go to the gym, you burn 300 calories. Then you walk out and you go to the Starbucks and you have a Frappuccino and a blueberry muffin and you consume 800 calories, and you're like, Ronnie, your program's not working. It's not the program, it's not the gym that's not working, it's the Starbucks and the blueberry muffin that you're going to. So I've shared with you a lot of information of what we ask you to take on each week. We hold you to account to those workouts, to eating a certain way, to alkalizing, to macro tracking. But the information that I'm sharing is there, and I can share this recording with you. It's everywhere. But what makes the difference is implementation, that each week you can check, are you doing it correct? You can solicit feedback, you'll be guided, you'll be coached. If you want someone to review your numbers or help you with tech setup, there's people around you. But the first step is to commit and take action, which is to sign up to a program, not to overanalyze. Overanalysis leads to paralysis. It's a great thing to take on at the start of the year. In January is going to be our busiest challenge. Aristotle says we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Now, how do we create quality, consistent, and healthy habits each day or each week? It's your environment and your community. So what we're providing you with, what we bring together, is we bring together people that create an amazing environment, the online social media groups or WhatsApp groups or the webinars or the Zoom calls. And just the way all of you are connecting and have some sense of each other here, that's what we have each week. A number of such calls where you get to connect. If you can't be on live, you can watch the recording. But each week you need to be live on, and starts on third week, with one live coaching call. So one of our coaches needs to have a conversation with you. They need to be able to see that you are in action, in communication, you're giving an update on your action, even if you haven't done everything to perfection. We're not seeking perfection, we're seeking progress, and we're seeking some form of taking action in line with the design of the program than what pulls you to your comfort zone. So once you sign up to the program, and those of you that have signed up, this is what happens. You will get 10 webinars that we run live, like this conversation I'm having with you. They're going to be on one of the weekday evenings, UK time. Then if you can't be on live, because it might not work for your sleep time or time zone, or you've pre-communicated a clash, you can watch the recording that we'll share with you that night. You also will do a body type assessment at the start of the program to understand your body type, and therefore understand a bit about your metabolism. Meal plan ideas. So the image that you see there is a screenshot of a lunch meal plan for a pescatarian that is on a fat loss and a muscle gain program. Similarly, you'll get one for breakfast and for dinner and snack options, and again, based on your dietary requirements. Training programs that you can use in the gym or outdoors or at home. PDFs we'll share, but as mentioned earlier, we do these live workouts anyway, which especially for people that have knee issues or posture issues, I highly recommend the Tuesday. There's a Tuesday lower body workout that I run, and there are 2 workouts on a Tuesday. So the one that I do is a strength and conditioning class. You can see some of the past ones on that particular group, FITBANKER Transforming a Billion Lives, on Facebook, and you can watch some of those workouts, or you join me live if you can make it at the particular time that we do them. Once you join the WhatsApp group, it will have all the times of the live workouts. But just as a reminder, this is something that's free. Even if you're not on the program, people can join those workouts. You can invite others to join those workouts. It's just an added bonus to the FitBanker challenge that we introduced during lockdown, and everyone thought it would last 3 weeks, but it's been now 2.5 years that we've been offering them for free. You'll be part of an online Facebook community, a closed group called FitBanker Campus. So if you're somebody that's already signed up as well and you've got your What Next email, please be sure to join the links, look at the links in there to join the relevant groups. Request to join and one of our team will approve you to those groups. From week 2 of the program and starting on week 3, you have a group coaching call. You'll choose a particular coach. You'll be added to a smaller WhatsApp group with your team, but you'll still be part of the full challenge group. So you'll be connected to everyone on the challenge, and you'll connect with everyone that is on the challenge that joins on the webinars. Then every Friday, we have what's called Friday surgeries. So this is a live Q&A, an hour with me that I run either at lunch or in the evening. And you join those to ask any questions, but this is where your customization happens. So if you come on and say, Ronnie, I started at 27% body fat, I've implemented so far what I've done, and I'm now at 25.5, but it's taken me 3 weeks to lose 1.5%. What do I do? And then we will look at, okay, what are your carbs? What are your protein? What's your fat? Let's adjust this, increase that. I need you to increase your step count and also work on your sleep. And then after 1 week, 2 weeks, we start to see your body responding. Then we know that we're moving in the right direction and we start to customize. To sign up, there's the link, which is fitbanker.com/go. It just so happens that at this point in the program, which wasn't the case last year, we still have a number of mega early bird packs remaining. I'll talk about that in a moment. But what I want to remind you of is we really exist to optimize well-being for human beings. We have people that have joined our program with lifestyle disease. That may not apply to those of you that are on today, but this is somebody that joined us as a pre-diabetic. And she was told if her bloods were exactly the same reading at the next review after a number of tests that they've done in the past, she's formally labeled type 2 diabetes. She does a program, loses 14.5 kg. She, within the first month, is given the all clear that her blood sugars have just not spiked. They tested her twice. She actually worked as a phlebotomist in the lab and with the doctor that diagnosed her. After the program, she even quit her job. Then she's gone into reality. So when I talk about people making a career change as part of their well-being, that was one thing as well that she did. This is Ushma Vagela, somebody that was struggling with fertility, had one child, and with her permission to share through IVF, they were trying for number 2. They were told can't happen, won't happen naturally. They still tried for 5 years, no luck. The IVF clinic then didn't want to take her back on because they said her BMI was too high and she's got too much fat percentage. Statistically, it will be unsuccessful. She tried to lose weight. A whole year later, she lost 3 kg on her own. She does the program and she loses about 10 kilos. She's approved to start her IVF process. By the end of the program, she lost about 12 kg. They wanted one more and IVF was successful. They ended up getting twins. And when the twins were 5 months old, because they were told and they were very clear they could never conceive naturally with the twins also coming through IVF, they kept doing what they do. And unknown to them, when the twins were 5 months old, they were 3 months pregnant with their first natural conception. So they've gone from 1 to 4 babies in a window of 20 months. I often joke with her faster than a BMW. So that's one of what's possible. And then there's Jagdish Bhai at 73, a diabetic. Is those of you that might have heard of this diabetic medication called metformin. He was on 4 metformin a day. He's now down to 1 metformin. The doctors are keeping him on that just in case, precautionary, but otherwise he's about 18, 19 kg lighter. He has mobility issues. He joins our workouts. He does 2 or 3 workouts a week with us at the age of 73. So phenomenal example of people that can take on their well-being if you're truly committed to it. And some people, their transformation has been a massive boost in confidence for them by transforming their health, but breaking also certain weight loss records. We're not a weight loss program. It is one of the outcomes if that's one of your goals. This is Viera, who lost 18.8 kg. She's now a head coach with us. And we're also launching a whole new leadership program with Viera. She is now 73 kg. So she's, 35 kilos lighter than when she began, right? That's her latest update. She just did the last program. Vijay in 90 days lost 25 kg. He's also going to be with you, I believe, on the January program. He was a coach with us for about 1.5 years. and he recently completed with us as a coach, but him and his wife love the FITBANKER program, so they are back on the January program. But he lost 25 kg at the time, was the male record. Shortly after that came along this guy called JC. He lost 26.3 kg in 90 days. Again, phenomenal feat, phenomenal record, and also a coach with us. He's an accountability coach, which means these coaches hold you accountable to do it by design like they did, right? And so these are all examples of what's possible and some of the benefits of what you get to be after. So I am inviting those of you that are on to join our program. It starts 10 days away now. It's just about 10 days from tomorrow. The link is fitbanker.com/go. We do have a promo running at the moment for last few days actually, and last few in quantity remaining. That's an image of me before and after. Nobody ever wrote down a plan to be fat, overweight, and unwell, but that is what happened to me when you don't have a plan. So there is one-to-one coaching that I used to offer. We don't do that now because we find the group coaching program is actually more effective when you are part of a bigger community. It works out to 100 quid a week, so 1299 for the 13-week program. But there's an early bird for 697, and even for that right now, we still have, like I said, a few mega early bird packs remaining at 497. If you missed that, don't worry, you've still got the 697. But if you're somebody that's on and has not signed up, then you can still benefit from that mega early bird price while those last few packs remain. If you're from Kenya, there's Urvi. Otherwise, you can just go up directly and sign up via this link. I'm going to pause now, and we're about to wrap up. But before I do, I just want to check in if there are any questions. If anybody would like to sign up, if you have any questions around the sign-up process, or if you have any questions about the program or something that you're dealing with health-wise, and you might not have heard what you wanted to hear. So please do ask, and I'll happily take any questions now. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, this is Riti here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have, I suffer with a lot of like migraines. And as I do know, it's food related, sleep related, hormone related. So I meant to mention this earlier, I just realized I didn't, but I'm assuming this program will probably be helpful for that as well.
It definitely will. It definitely will. We've had a lot of people actually write to us about that. Something they've dealt with for years, disappearing. But how long have you had it? And
forever.
Okay. And are you on any medication?
Yeah. No, I'd go see a neurologist. Sometimes he'll give me some pills for SOS, but then I have, those treatments on the head that you put, like Botox for the head.
Yeah.
That helps with it, but it's still not foolproof. Like it's still like it, comes and goes. One day is better than the other, and then some days there'll be a constant dull headache. So it all depends on various factors with sleep and food or something that triggers. Sometimes I don't know what triggers. So I probably I'm assuming now that we journal things, what we are writing, like what we are eating, it might help me figure that as well, I guess.
Yeah, you will definitely journal food. You will track and record food, but all disease, and our body is a phenomenal piece of machinery. It's communicating to us. And if you've had this going on for a long time, I want you to consider you're going to have to look at some of your existing habits, existing routine, existing food that you consume and have been consuming for a long time, but it's never occurred to you like that could be the source. And the reason it's not occurred to you is that it's been normalized. So you'll be consuming something that everybody else around you is consuming, but you're unique to them. So the way your body is responding, all disease and all as a headache or any inflammation is some form of something is of disagreement that you're consuming. And any inflammation, so a migraine or a headache, first of all, is reduced oxygen going to our brain, right? And one of the causes of that could be either there is a reduction in the oxygen or nitric oxide that is in the blood that's contributing to oxygen going there, or it could be that there is something is inflamed which might be blocking the passage of that blood to go there, right? Now, I'm giving you an example. It may not be specific to you, But if you remove foods that are inflammatory in nature, so one of the big things around the nutritional changes we do is removing inflammatory foods and having more anti-inflammatory foods. And anti-inflammatory foods, they don't work on their own if you're still having in the day inflammatory foods. So if you're having something high starchy, carb, sugary, and then you're like, hey, this is the list of anti-inflammatory foods, I'm having dark leafy greens and I'm having tomatoes, those things don't reverse the damaging stuff you're having in the day. Or
Right.
if you're not getting adequate sleep, right? Now I'm just giving an example of food, but it could be sleep. It could even be some past-based trauma. So on our masterclass on the mind-body connection, you might get to explore some of that. You might might open up something for you. Or in the first 4 weeks, we're looking so much at the physical, which is nutrition, exercise, metabolism, habit routine. And you might find just from there, you're now getting a lot more oxygen in your body. You're now exhaling a lot of toxins and carbon dioxide that your body doesn't need. And you might find that very early on, that begins to go away. And then you want to maintain routine. You want to try to, keep what supports you experiencing optimal health at bay.
Got it.
Yeah, but we've had
All
many
right.
people. We've had many people that have reversed that, and many other things like asthma or other things considered chronic or they've had from childhood that have disappeared.
Awesome. That's great. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. And are you signed up as well already?
Yes, we both are.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
We have the mega early bird we've done. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
well done on moving quick.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Any other questions from anyone else or any other comments you want to share? Nirav, Aminata, Mina?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So I guess I feel like I'm eager to start. I know it's a couple of days away. Is there anything that you recommend I start doing? Because I haven't received any of the information yet.
Oh, really?
Like I've got the email, but
though.
like I don't know what I'm supposed to be eating. Like I don't know. I haven't got.
Have you got an email that says what next?
No.
Okay. Then what email did you get then?
I have the one where it has like the breakdown of I need to get the scale, I need to get the protein, like that list of things.
Yeah, that's the what next email.
Okay.
So the what next email in there. So basically the first thing I would say is get all of those, set up your apps. And what I would just recommend now is the first part of learning is observing the status quo. So if you start to record your food right now without doing any adjustment to MFP or without working towards a particular goal, just enter your starting weight, your goal weight, how much you plan to lose per week, your age, your height, your gender, all that stuff, and start to record food. What you will first discover is actually how much carb are you consuming, how much sugar are you consuming, how much fat are you getting, how much protein are you getting or not getting. So for now, all I would recommend is that you observe. The week before, or actually this coming week, there'll be a second email going out which says your challenge takes off like a Boeing 747. So if you just make sure you save our email to your address book and maybe flag it or turn on notifications so that you don't miss that email. It will tell you what's expected from day one of the program. But from day one of the program, I'll tell you now, there are 3 foundational habits we ask people to do, what we call 747, which is 7 days, you have to do at least 10,000 steps a day. 4 days of the week, you've got to do some form of resistance training, either body weight or free weight based or machine based resistance training, at least 4 in a week. And then the third 7 is for 7 days, you want to avoid the inflammatory foods. So there's a list of forbidden foods we'll give you. And you want to make sure that you're macro tracking what you consume. So those are at a foundational level, that's what you have to do. So if you want to start off doing that, in the email you've received, there's already a video that shows how to set up MyFitnessPal and how to record and so on. So you can start off recording, you can start off aiming for 10,000 steps a day. And have you been or are you already active with a gym or some form of workout?
I do walking, but again, because my knee pain, I do it I used to be able to do it like in like 1 hour kind of intervals, but now it's like 10 minutes in the morning, maybe 10 minutes on a break. So I'm still trying to do the same amount, but spreading it out so my knee doesn't have the same impact for a long period in one shot.
Yeah, got it. So I will say for anyone that has knee issues, I just want you to understand something about it, is that your knee takes the load because 16 ancillary muscles around there are undeveloped or underdeveloped. So our quads are either not strong enough, our hamstrings are not strong enough, predominantly our glutes are not strong enough, our calves are not strong enough, our shin muscles are not strong enough. And so doing exercises that work on individually developing them between left leg and right leg and not training both together is a good thing to start. It's something that really supported me. And when I say I'm kind of free of knee pain, it was really chronic for me. I always moved with knee braces and painkillers for that. So what I would recommend you do is, if you message me, Mina, I'm just putting my WhatsApp number in the chat, and anybody else that wants to get it, you can. And if you just ask me to add you to the workouts group, for the WhatsApp workouts group, on there you'll get a notification every day when any of the instructors are going live with the workout, and the display image gives you the timings. But if you cannot make them because of time difference, you can do all of them on catch up. And even now you can join the group called FITBANKER Transforming a Billion Lives, but the link to that group is I've typed that again in the chat. So you could start off by trialing out some of the workouts, seeing how you fare, maybe getting some weights at home if you're going to train from home, or if you want to go to a gym, you can do them from a gym. But that's what I would say, is to start to get your body ready. Don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. And doing 2 workouts a week, weight-based, this week, doing 3 the following week, and by week 1 of the challenge you can take 3 or 4 that week. So that's what I'd recommend as a good start. Cool, Mina, I hope that helps. Okay, if there are no more questions, Aminata, yeah, how do I catch up and discuss a few things? Yeah, Aminata, please message me on WhatsApp, or anyone else message me on Instagram at fitbanker.co. I'm a lot more responsive on Instagram, so if you are there and if I don't respond to a WhatsApp message, bear with me. It's just that I get a lot of them. But if you connect with me on Instagram, I'll definitely get back to you. Aminata, I can also share this recording. If you message me right after, I'll share this with you, and I'd love for you to see what we covered at the start, so you understand the depth of the program. Okay, if there's no more questions, I am going to wrap up with this quote, which really inspired me and hit the nail on the head, and really I acknowledge myself for taking action and not procrastinating when I had my health setback. When asked what surprised him most about humanity, the Dalai Lama answered, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money, and then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never really lived. So on that note, it is a wrap. Thanks all for being on today's session, and I look forward to starting the challenge with you guys. Those of you that haven't signed up, as mentioned, we've got that promo for a few more days and a few more packs. But looking forward to working with whoever's in on the 9th of Jan. On that note, it's a wrap. Bye for now, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so